You want to get yourself back to a place of being responsive rather than reactive, in control instead of rattled, unflappable instead of off kilter. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Kristi Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Kristi Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Welcome to today's episode. Let's just get straight into things. There is a well-known concept in improvisational theater. And even though improv was never my specialty, I've spent enough time around it to know this. It teaches some of the most valuable real-life communication skills. And one of the biggest is this. Yes, and. Have you heard this before? Yes, and? The idea is simple. Don't reject what's given. And don't shut down the opportunity to build on it. No shuts things down. Yes, but sounds like an agreement, but it actually rejects the value of what was said. Now, if I'm honest, I'm a bit more of a yes, but person. If I don't immediately see the value or the path forward, my instinct is to just shut it down. My pragmatism doesn't want to waste time by going down paths that won't actually come to success or come to fruition. Yes, but sounds efficient, but it shuts down people. And I know along the way I have crushed some spirits in the brainstorming process, and I have likely missed out on some beautiful collaborations or gently opening doors. So I really appreciated the reel I saw of Pete Holmes when he was a guest on the live recording of the 10% Happier podcast. I put the link in the show notes for you, but in this clip, he shares his mantra of sorts, which is, yes, thank you. It's a little bit of a play on that yes anding, and it tricks your neurology into a new perspective. Saying yes, thank you, in the midst of a traditionally negative experience, you immediately hijack your brain. You interrupt the stress response and create space for a more regulated reaction. Pete gives this example of like a delayed flight. Normally, this is something that creates frustration and irritation and a mad scramble to make adjustments. And when you say, yes, thank you, in that moment, you acknowledge that perhaps you can't see the whole picture. Perhaps there are blessings that await you that you would not have access to without the delay. It says, hey, there's a chance that I don't know the complete vision, and maybe there's a possibility that things are actually working in my favor right now. Or it can just be as simple as a moment to pause and be thankful that you're alive. It doesn't have to be woo-woo, but it can be profound. And let's be clear, this isn't toxic positivity. It's not pretending that something is good when it's not. It's just choosing not to argue with what already is. As Pete says, it's about not debating the negative thing. It's not giving it power. It's just accepting what is. This will take some practice for me because, like I said, my pragmatism runs deep. But I want to live in an expectation of goodness. that things are working out for me, that even in the midst of discomfort, inconvenience, or irritation, there's room for my brain to maintain a framework of gratitude. Yes, thank you. What do you think? Is there room for you to consider yes, thank you approaches in your life? Will you give it a try? Maybe just set an intention for 1 week and see if any positive changes come around. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know how this goes and if it was easy for you or if it got easier for you. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. Trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. A too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. Have you heard the advice? I'm sure you have. Count to 10 when you're angry. It's kind of a cliche at this point, I think, but it's a valuable instruction that bears revisiting, especially as high-stakes communicators in the courtroom or even in depositions when you have opposing counsel actively trying to unsettle you. Relentless objections just to throw you off your rhythm and trigger you. So let's talk about what's happening internally that gets you so riled up, and then let's find some solutions to keep you in the driver's seat. First of all, when you get triggered, and let's be honest, it's when, not if, your body activates a stress response. Your brain shifts control to the amygdala, your threat detection center, and away from the prefrontal cortex, which handles reasoning and impulse control. And let's be clear, this is not just you. This is just how human brains work. At some point in our human history, we regularly experienced physical threat from predators, from the environment. We needed a fight or flight response in order to protect us. So thank you, sympathetic nervous system branch. You're awesome. We needed you. But the wild thing is that nowadays, even though, thankfully, most of us do not live under constant physical threat, no one told the brain. It can't tell the difference between actual threat and perceived emotional threat. So these triggering events, they light up the amygdala. That's the oldest part of the brain. It's the habit-forming part, and it's the emotional center. And it takes you away from that prefrontal cortex, which is more tempered, it's more thoughtful, it's the impulse control of the brain. That's why you get all discombobulated. You're normal. This is how we are wired and designed. It has definitely served a purpose, but it can also derail us. Enter, stage left, the count to 10 rule. Counting to 10 works for one reason. It creates a pause long enough for your brain to come back online. If you can have the wherewithal to not just react and match their energy, if you can pause and count to 10, you are giving your brain a chance to catch up, to have its internal momentary tantrum, but then come back online and let the parasympathetic system get you back into regulation. It's worth noting what you are doing during that 10 seconds. You're breathing low and slow as you count. You know how much I love reminding you to breathe. And let's be honest, we can't always count to 10. Sometimes regulation needs to happen a little faster than that. But even one intentional breath, allowing a strategic pause, will distract the amygdala long enough to get your brain back online and you back in control of your emotions. One breath is all it takes to interrupt that fight or flight instinct and prevent you from using a reactive tone or rushing through your next points because you're too riled up. And another thing you can do to recalibrate and reclaim your driver's seat authority is to decontaminate. This is a simple act of walking even just a few steps away from where the explosive moment happened. I say explosive, but I'm not meaning an all-out yelling match in the courtroom. I mean, sometimes that happens, I suppose, but more often than not, the explosions are happening internally. That moment happened in space and time, not just in your head. It happened in a physical location. So physically, step away from that space. If you're stuck at a podium, just take a step backwards or take a step forwards. Even just shift your weight to the opposite foot. Disrupt the physical space you were in while taking a deep breath to decontaminate the space and start again with clarity. You are signaling to your brain that moment is over. These subtle physical actions, stepping to a new spot, taking a deep breath, they are tremendously impactful to internal functions. You want to get yourself back to a place of being responsive rather than reactive, in control instead of rattled, unflappable instead of off kilter. And just like with everything I teach, practice this at a low stakes situation. Don't wait until your case is on the line and you have a full jury box and a gallery of people watching you. Practice this with your kids or your spouse. Practice in slight irritations to train the mechanism and write the neural pathway for responsiveness. I'm excited to hear how this works for you. Send me an email or a DM and let me know when you've tested it, both counting to 10 and decontaminating. I'm eager to hear. Until next time, keep fostering your voice. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.